everyone, Kelly here, and today I want to start a new series of videos about series. So I've seen other people do this where they talk about series that they need to finish, ones they want to DNF, and ones they want to start. And I have a lot of series on my TBR or ones that I've given up on, and so I thought I would just share those with you. So probably these videos will come out one a week for a while until I have exhausted all of them. And to keep things manageable and not to make these videos too long, I'm only going to talk about 10 series or a max of 10 series in each video. So today I want to talk about the series that I need to finish, and in order to keep it down to 10, I'm only talking about series that I own the next book in the series. So there are series that I want to finish, but I don't own the next books, and so when you don't own the next one, that's like one more thing that gets in the way of finishing it. So these, I have no reason not to finish because I either own all the rest of the books or at least the next book to get me going on it. So let's start off first with two books that I only have one more book to finish out the series, so I have no excuses. And the first one is The Winter's Curse by Marie Rakowski, and this is the last book in the trilogy, the Winter's Trilogy. This is a political fantasy, meaning there's no magic. It's just about politics in this made-up world, and it is following our main character. I've forgotten their names. Kestrel, that's it. I like Kestrel as a character because she is a strong woman, but without, like, sometimes when you have like a strong woman in a fantasy, they're just like kick butt and just gonna take down all the men and they're strong as the men. But for her, her strength is in her wits, and she's really good at strategy and stuff like that. So I like that take on the strong female character. I did not love the second book in the series, and that is why I have not picked this up, is because I loved the first book. The second book really disappointed me. But you know, with trilogies, often the middle one has the middle book syndrome. So I need to pick this up and just finish it off. And the other one I just have to finish one book is Lioness Rampant, and this is the last book in the Song of the Lioness Quartet by Tamora Pierce. And this, I really loved the first three books in the series, and I think I've been avoiding reading this one because I just don't want the series to end, but I need to because she has a whole other series in this universe that I want to start and I own all of. So yeah, I need to get to this one soon. And this is all about a girl named Alana who wants to be a knight in a world where women are not allowed to be knights. And I just really like the way the story has developed so far and following Alana, so I do need to get to this one soon. The next 6 series are ones that I own the entire rest of the series, so multiple books, and there's no reason for me not to finish them because I own them all. And it also is a little more embarrassing because I might own like 4 books and I haven't picked them up. So let's start with those. So the one that I really need to pick up because I've had it on my TBR forever is the rest of the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. I read Mistborn back, I think in January of this year, and I absolutely loved it. Gave it 5 stars. I have no reason why I haven't continued this other than I know I want to really dedicate time to it, and I'm one of those people that reads multiple books at a time, and I keep saying I'm gonna like try to finish off my currently reading so I can focus on these books, and I haven't done it. So I'm kind of thinking winter, so starting in November, I might be able to focus on this more because they are big books and I want to give time to them. This is a really fun fantasy world where we start out when the bad guy has already won and kind of what happens from there. And then the next trilogy that I have, both the other ones, is the Study series by Maria V. Snyder. This has since been made into a longer series, so I think there's actually like 6 books in the series now, but this is the original trilogy. I read the first one, Poison Study, and actually these would be rereads because I did read this trilogy years ago, but I didn't remember anything, and I really loved Poison Study when I read it, so I do need to continue. And this is a fantasy story that follows a woman named Yelena who is about to be put to death because she was in prison, and instead she's given the opportunity to be the poison, like the food tester for, I don't know, the commander, that's what he's called. He's not called the king. So she becomes a food taster and learns about poisons and things like that. And the next one is the Steel and Fire series by Jordan Rivett. This is a self-published series, and I loved the first 3 books. Like, all of them were either like 4.5, 5-star books, and I just have the last 2 books in the series left. And the reason I've thought about this like at least once a week. I think about continuing this, and the reason I haven't picked them up is because I listened to the first 3 on audiobook, and I really enjoyed the narrator. And you know, like when you start a series, listening to it, you kind of want to like finish it in that same medium. But I have not been able to find the last 2 audiobooks. Like, libraries just only carry the first 3, Scribd only carries the first 3. I know they made the last 2, but I think you have to like buy them from Audible, and that's silly when I already own the books. So I just need to like convince myself to read them in physical form. And this is a fantasy series, follows a girl named Dara who is a duelist. So she is a like master swords woman, and she in the first book is kind of asked to teach the prince how to better fence and stuff like that, and they have kind of like a hate relationship at first, and there's a lot of magic. I would say the first 3 books just have a lot of surprises and things happening, so I am excited to finish out the series. I've heard the middle book, the 3rd book wasn't the best. It was definitely a bridge book, but I've heard that these 2 are really good from people I know that finished it. Next, I have the Queen's Thief series, which I own 4 books of, so I really should finish this. I've only read the first one, which was The Thief, and I didn't actually love it, but everybody says that that's the least good book of the series, and then it like really picks up after that. And so I do want to read these because I've heard there's a lot of political intrigue. I don't even know how to describe this book because The Thief seemed like such a standalone kind of title about a thief, so I don't really know where it goes from there. Like, basically he's just made to like steal something for a sorcerer. I think that's what he was. I have no idea where it goes from there, but I've heard this is more like a political fantasy with magic involved. Next, I have the Charles Lennox mysteries, which are by Charles Finch. These are historical fiction mysteries, so they take place in like the late 1800s, and they are just a lot of fun. I've already read 7 of the main series and 1 of the prequel. Like, this is book 2 in the prequel, and these are all the 3 that are published so far in the regular series. And so I really do want to continue these. I have actively been reading, like I read the other prequel just a couple months ago, so it's not like I've gone a long time since reading them, but I do want to continue since I have 4 more books, and they're just fun mysteries. Each of them are kind of standalones, but follow an overarching, like we follow Lennox's life and what's happening as well, so I like to kind of see them in order and what is going on in his life. And then the last one that I own all the books of is the Sherlock Holmes mysteries, and I have had the next one on my TBR forever. Like, I keep putting it on my monthly TBR, and that is the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I read the first 2 novellas, and I'm supposed to be reading the first short story collection. And the reason I haven't picked this up in months is because I have to convince myself that I'm gonna like these short stories. I'm not a short story person. Like, I don't read anthologies, I don't read short story collections, and I know that I've heard that his short stories are really good, so I just need to push myself to read it. But it is just the fact that they are short stories that is keeping me from continuing. And then the last 2 series are both middle grade, and both I only have the next book in the series. So first I have The Forbidden Library by Django Wexler. I read the first one almost, was it 2 years? Oh, like a year ago I read the first one, and I own the second one, and there are 4 in the series total. I do want to get to this one. This is about a girl who her father dies, and she goes to live with this like uncle who's not really like her uncle, but like a guy that is like her guardian, and he has a forbidden library, and it turns out a lot of weird things happen in this library. And it was just a really fun middle grade novel. I enjoyed it a lot, so I do want to continue. I just haven't been motivated to continue the series yet. And the last one is Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger, and I read this one, the first book in the series, just back in, I think, June, and loved it, like 5 stars. I was really excited to continue the series, but I didn't own the other books. And the reason I'm holding up this one, the first book, is because I just bought the second book and it will be arriving tomorrow. So finally, I'm going to continue on the series. I just bought the second book because I figure I'll just buy one at a time, because I think there's like 8 books in this series, something like that. So I'm not going to buy them all right now. I'll kind of go, buy them as I read them. But this one is a fun book about a young girl who thinks she's just a normal human girl, and then one day she finds out she's not. And that's pretty much all you want to know, because it is kind of a surprise of like what she really is. But there's a lot of like fun magic and school setting happening in the first book. So that's it. Those are the 10 series that I really need to continue and finish. I don't know how many of these I can finish this year, so this will be like a goal for 2020. Hopefully I can finish the ones that I only have one more book this year, and then 2020 this will be kind of my goal. So that's it for the series that I need to read with books that I already own. If any of these are some of your favorite series, let me know so I kind of get the push to pick up the ones that you would really like to see me finish or that you think are really amazing. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.